Cancers, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 9th through the 15th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Cancer, this week we have a lot of supportive aspects in the sky, as you can see here in the transit graph. And when things are easy, it's good to be taking action. And I think that's already the case because the last new moon we had was in Aries, which has been spawning, I think, this new action for your career life or your productive life. And that's what the 10th house is. And there's actually a lot of concentration up here in your 10th house this week, because a lot of these aspects, basically what you're seeing here is you're seeing the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, which are up here in your 10th house, all forming up this kite, which has been emphasized already since last week's new moon, but this kite with your earth houses. All right, so I think with these new beginnings relating to your career, your productive life, it's directly supporting perhaps the material life, maybe the financial material security life, and then also your work life or your routines, which is the 6th house. Okay, and that's that grand trine. But now in terms of the kite, there's this sextile up to Neptune in your 8th, helping you get more intimate and really let go of the transformational side of life. Right? Because what Neptune's all about is surrender. And as what you'll find is as you surrender the beginnings and endings, life and death, transformation, the deeper things, there's a tremendous peace in that. And this is also letting go too in terms of anything that might be shared resources or things that we're in bondage to, such as debts and stuff like that. Having a bit more of a passive, letting go, faithful approach can be very liberating with that Neptune, and that's the sextile, which is an opportunity for that. So this week, it all starts on Monday with Jupiter going direct, which has been a retrograde over the past 5 months in your 2nd house. So if you've been perhaps rethinking the financial stuff, maybe relearning about your sense of self-worth, what's your time worth, what's your value, your energy worth, and perhaps reflecting on self-reliance. A lot of that starts to move forward because it really is the time and really the next 2 years for you to be cultivating your self-reliance. All right, and that's the Jupiter and North Node who have been shifting into the 2nd. So you'll probably notice that it does take time for Jupiter to gain momentum, but as we go through the rest of the month, there's definitely that shift of now the more outward opportunities to cultivate just that, to cultivate perhaps the finances. Maybe, learning more about yourself in such a way that you can believe in what you can attract in your life. Right, because the 2nd house is all about our sense of self-worth in terms of what we can attract. All right, whatever your values are, learning more about your values. All right, and perhaps some external opportunities there. So that's the moving forward energy, and that's the trine that's directly supporting the career stuff, or the productive stuff. And I think that's where a lot of the concentration of energy is. And with that last new moon, that's where things are starting to move forward for you in regards to that productive stuff. So it's a good week for that. Good week for all these areas, in fact, but they're all directly supporting each other. So that's Monday. One thing about Monday too is that Mercury is going to conjoin up to the Sun. So there could be a lot of mental energy because, again, with this Mercury retrograde in your 10th, although there is this forward moving energy, that Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde, by the way, who rules your 10th, is making all of this kind of throttled back a little bit. It's good to be flexible, to treat all of these new beginnings or insights or whatever, or aspirations in a way that's a bit more open to change, right? Having multiple exit strategies, thinking of multiple things, not getting too caught up into one particular outcome, because usually with Mercury retrograde, things change, right? So it's good to get your feet wet, to try new things, and yet get that energy moving forward, but learn in the process. So on Monday, there could be a lot of that passion, a lot of that fiery energy coming in from the Sun with that Mercury. So there could be a strong mental energy, a lot of passion maybe about the career stuff or productive things. So it's good with this because Mercury is in front of the Sun, just to have the extra attention on the mind and communication and correspondence, which has been very important anyways with that Mercury retrograde. But definitely if it feels a bit on fire, which it can sometimes with the Sun. Okay. That's specifically around Monday. But again, it's in good aspect. But the extra tension can at least make it much more grounded and useful. Now, as we go through the rest of the week, all these aspects is this Venus and Mercury who are forming up to this kite. And so the supportive energy here is, I think, what you could be enjoying on one hand with your career, maybe cultivating those relationships with your productive sphere of life, or enjoying it. And again, learning more about that, directly supporting this confidence or sense of self-worth, directly supporting this sixth house. You know, the sixth house side of this has been Pluto, which has been very deep, helping you make big changes with your regimens, perhaps with your routine or in your work life, to get rid of old patterns, old belief systems, old limiting things, maybe around perfection or improvement or self-improvement, that are needing to be let go. And I think it's a great week for that, releasing those old patterns, and then with that space, maybe making some changes that are really needed here in your everyday sphere, whether it's at work, whether it's with your diet, your regimens, your routine, whatever it might be. It's a great week for making change there. Okay, very deep change with that trine up to Mercury and Venus. Could even be deep spiritual change because Mercury rules your 12th. Could be change to your communication midweek. And then with that Venus energy, there's this change perhaps with your ideals, your aspirations, maybe some changes with your home and family life. It's involving a lot of different areas. Okay. Now, in the conjunction side of it, Venus and Mercury conjoining will be around that same time as we go into the weekend, the second half of the week. Okay, and so that energy there is going to be perhaps learning more about your aspirations, learning more about your personal life. And again, of course, about career, because that's where the big emphasis is. What you enjoy, what your values are in the career front. You could even enjoy perhaps a bit of that lowering of energy going into the weekend, because Mercury does, of course, rule your 12th. Venus over there could mean you enjoy a bit more of a relaxing approach to things. Maybe spending time with home and family, with Venus ruling the 4th. So in either case, I think the big emphasis with all of this is the fact that there's a lot of the support with your earth houses. Okay, and the new beginnings relating to what's slowly unfolding for you for the next 12 months, relating to your career, relating to your public life, which you're learning a lot about, which you could be enjoying. And it's all directly supporting this shift of you expanding your material life or your sense of self-worth, self-reliance. And also that you can make more change and let go of old patterns with the everyday sphere, with your work life perhaps, or self-improvement, which can allow for that deep power to then directly influence these new beginnings with career, which again, reflective, Mercury's retrograde, Mars is retrograde, but still great to move forward in that flexible way. All right, so Cancers, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.